Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Y'all know my computer is slow. I don't know why it's taking so long for it to get to where it needs to go. What the heck? No, hold on. Let me see something. I had an overlay on. I didn't even know it. This sometimes I be struggle streaming, y'all. Like real talk. I really be struggle streaming down here. Like I be trying to make it to where I, I swear I try to make it to where I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but hey, look, it is what it is. Really, I done had to change over to a new microphone because it was breaking up so bad, and that was annoying me so much. I'm not even gonna lie to you, and I'm hoping that this is not doing the same thing. But if it is, please let me know. Please let me know because I might have to do away with the microphone totally, and I'd hate to have to do that because, well, I really don't even know why I would hate to have to do that, but I would hate to have to do that. Um, well, I would hate to have to do it because I'm trying to like improve this thing, and it's doing the most. Anyways, let's try to get into this episode. This is called the economic policy of Donald Trump, and the reason why I'm bringing out the economic policy of Donald Trump is for really one reason. I hear so many people say so much about how Donald Trump has done so much, and that's not necessarily from one particular group in general. However, um, I think you've gotten the message unclear. I think the message has been misconstrued. And what it tells me is that you're actually listening to what he says that he's done for you, and he really hasn't done anything for you. The little good stuff that he did have going on when he came into presidency was a fade over off of Barack Obama. Obama. And I'm trying to tell you guys that just because the president changes places doesn't mean that the administration as a whole, when it comes to the legislature, when it comes to the judiciary, changes places. Which is why we saw that when Obama got in office, there are a lot of things that he tried to put through that didn't get put through because there were people from the previous administration who would not allow that to come through. The same thing with Joe Biden. And I'm not saying Republicans are all wrong. There's some good Republicans out there. Um, and I'm not saying Democrats are all right because there's some not so great Democrats all, out there. However, what I am saying is they have to work together and try to get everything done together. And I think that's what a lot of people are misconstruing. So, what we're going to get in today is the economic policy of Donald Trump. And we're going to actually prove some facts, some fact checking, some real fact checking. Let me get this straight. Ooh. Some real fact checking because Donald Trump would lead you to believe that he did everything all right and everything everybody else did was wrong. And that's just not true. It's just not true. I mean, I'm all down with him taking credit for whatever he did do, but for the most part, he didn't do much for the American people and for this country as a whole. He did a lot for corporations, he did a lot for industries' heads, he did a lot for shareholders, but that does not cover the majority of America. And so, therefore, I want you to understand what he did and did not do for you. So, we're going to actually dig into it. So, I'm going to share my screen because that's just what I do. I share my screen because when I say stuff out my mouth, people just don't believe it. They don't believe it. They need to. They're from the state of Ohio. They need to show and prove. So I'm gonna actually get some information from the internet, which, hey, it's people believe stuff off the internet. It just is what it is. People believe stuff off the internet, and this is a partial or impartial, should I say? It's an impartial organization. This is Wikipedia. As you can see at the top, it says Wikipedia. Now, this is the economic policy of the Donald Trump administration. Now, we're going to go ahead and get into it. It says the economic policy of the Donald Trump administration was categorized by individual and corporate tax cuts, attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. That's what we all knew it as, Obamacare. Obamacare did a lot for a lot of people. Like I tell you, the first time, Obama's first time getting into office was coming off literally during, well, it's not even coming off, just during a, what's that thing? I'm looking for the word. I'll get back to it. Either way it goes, the Obama administration recession. There we go. The Obama administration literally started during a recession that was coming off the backs of Bush. We went through that yesterday, where the not Obamacare, but the Obama administration was literally coming off the backs of a recession. During a recession, it wasn't even after a recession; it was during a recession. Okay. And so this man had to get in office, and even though it was going to make him look bad for the simple reason of this, we were in a recession. There was nothing that was going to look good about it, period. There was just nothing that was going to look good about it. However, it was really trying to base it on how fast was he going to get us out of that recession, which you learned from the last video that he got us out of that recession twice as fast, because it would have lasted twice as long had he not implemented what he implemented, okay? So we're going to see what Donald Trump came in to, because like we discovered yesterday, the Obama administration put our economy on a forward trajectory and put us in a position where our economy came back strong in half the time, okay? So by the time that Trump got into office, which, like I told you before, there are a lot of policies and things that are put in place when the next president gets into office. And when that next president gets into office, sometimes it makes it look like they're really doing some great things, when really in actuality, it's coming from the last president. In fact, that happens every time, which was what made Biden look so crazy, because some of the stuff that he was having to deal with, it came from the last administration, which happened to be the Trump administration. And we're going to talk about it today. So let's get to reading. It says the economic policy of Donald Trump administration was categorized by the individual and corporate tax cuts. That is very important. Everybody keeps hollering about, oh, Donald Trump gave me all these tax cuts. No, he did not. Unless you were a shareholder or a corporate owner or an industry owner, you did not get the tax cuts. It's sitting here, right here in front of your eyes. It says it was categorized by the individual and cuts. Those individuals, those are the people who had shares. If you don't own stocks, that was not you. I'm so sorry. It says also the attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which was Obamacare, which he said he was going to come back with one that was way better, and he never came back with it. It's been almost 10 years, and he still ain't came back with that better Affordable Care Act yet. Exactly. He was pandering. He was not trying to do anything for you. He just wanted your vote. In fact, even in this election, he told you, I don't even care about you. I just want your vote. And y'all still don't believe it for whatever reason. So anyways, next, trade protectionism. That trade protectionism lies, because we ended up with a bunch of tariffs, high tariffs, by the way. And then that's why he wants to talk all this type of crap about China, when you had a bad trade deal from the beginning. We got all these tariffs. And did the businesses pay for those tariffs? No. Did the corporate offices pay for those tariffs? No. Did the industries pay those tariffs? No, they did not. The economy, the people, us, the ones who buy the eggs and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that they don't buy it, but still, those of us who were consumers, us regular Americans, we paid for that stuff, not the businesses, because they just hiked the prices up so that we had to do so. Immigration restriction. That's another thing. I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, but this man had a chance to close off borders and all this other kind of stuff that he claims that he wants to do this time, and how immigration is such a big situation. He didn't do it the first time. He's not going to do it the second time. He's just playing on your emotions. He playing you like a fiddle. Deregulation focused on the energy and financial sectors and responses of the COVID-19 pandemic. We ain't even got to get into that because he didn't do nothing about that. He didn't even think it was real. He didn't think it was real. And look how many people died. Look how many of your family members passed away. Look how many of your friends passed away. Look how many elderly people passed away. Look how many people with preconditioned situations passed away. He didn't do anything about it. I'm sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It is what it is, because I'm going to give you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not, as long as you're here to actually hear it. He didn't do that. We actually stayed in a pandemic type situation, almost martial law to begin with, for almost 2 years because nothing was done. We still wear masks to this day because nothing was done. It was not done. Over his term, Trump reduced federal taxes and increased spending. He did reduce federal taxes for it was for the corporate people. It wasn't for the regular people. He didn't reduce your federal taxes. When you filed your taxes, will you tax less? Probably not, because he didn't reduce the federal taxes for you, but he did increase federal spending because he gave you the same what's the thing called? Stimulus. He gave you the same stimulus that Obama had given you. He sure did. He increased your spending because he gave you some money and some stimulus. He gave you some EDD money, some unemployment money, some PPP money, and all this other kind of stuff. And a lot of people stole that money because a lot of people didn't have businesses to begin with. But a lot of people caught on to the fact that the only way you can get that money is if you have a business. And so they created these fictitious businesses, and you committed the same type of fraud that he was committing. It says both which significantly increase federal budget deficits and a national debt. Yes, this man literally increased the national debt by $8 trillion. Nobody, I'm going to say nobody, that would be incorrect. Most people in America are not going to see $8 trillion in their lifetime. In fact, I would say a good 95% of us are not going to see $8 trillion in our lifetime. But he did increase that national debt by $8 trillion. And then y'all wonder why everything's so high. It says the positive economic situation he inherited from the Obama administration. Oh, there's a debunked again. He didn't create anything. He didn't create a positive economic situation. He inherited it from the Obama administration because Obama actually put a lot of things in that were good, at least what the Republican Party allowed him to put in place. Because as we know, when Obama was in office, the Republican Party fought against a lot of things he tried to put in place. Our economy could have been a lot further along, or we could have got out of that a lot quicker had they actually agreed to the stuff that Obama was trying to put in place. But because they felt some type of way, they didn't do that. They didn't do it. But some of the stuff, I'm assuming, because maybe they were feeling the remnants of it and maybe their family members were feeling the remnants of it, they actually tried to put it in place. And so, some of the stuff they passed and some of the stuff they didn't because they felt some type of way. With the labor market approaching full employment and measures of the household income and wealth continuing to improve further into record territory, Trump also implemented trade protectivism via tariffs. That was some tariffs I'm talking about. I told y'all, we got them tariffs, and them tariffs was high, and we've been paying them. We still paying them, even now. That's why we was $8 trillion more in debt than we was before he got in office. But you ain't got to believe me. It says it right here. Primarily on imports from China. During Trump's first 3 years of office, the numbers of Americans without increased by 4.6 million. Which is 16%. Of course they did, because Obama put things in place. Remember how he was trying to get rid of the Obamacare? Yeah, well, he couldn't get rid of the Obamacare in the beginning. It took some time for him to get rid of that. It took some time for him to mitigate that. He had to wait until that expired. And fortunately, actually, for him, the first 3 years of office, the number of Americans that went without health insurance increased by 4%. But then he messed that up, and so look where we're at now. Now, Trump took office at the height of the longest economic expansion in American history, the 128-month economic expansion that began in June 2009 abruptly ended at the peak in February 2020. February 2020. That sounds like when we shut down. Yep, that sounds like when we shut down. That sounds like when we shut down. It expired February 2020. Sounds like the stuff that Obama put in place lasted for a while, but not during his administration. It prolonged even past his administration into the Trump administration. And Trump has been trying to collect credit for that the entire time, when in actuality, he was signing stuff to mess us over. Yeah, he was signing stuff to mess us over, but nobody sees that because they're like, oh, when we was there, we was doing so great. No, you weren't. Oh, you probably was. You might have been. You might have been. You just might have been. Because he signed it. Because the previous president signed it. Okay? With the U.S. entering a recession due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Again, something he didn't even take seriously. And by the time he did take it serious, everybody was without jobs, at the house, wearing masks, having to be 6 feet apart, and all types of stuff because he didn't take it seriously. The U.S. unemployment rate, which had hit a 50-year low, 3.5% in February 2020, hit a 90-year high, 14.7%, just 2 months later, matching the Great Depression levels. I'm trying to tell y'all, everything was coming back up. He inherited a strong economy. He did, but because he didn't take that seriously, look what happened. Because he took or tried to take people's health insurance when people was going through the most hard time of their lives, because he didn't take a illness that serious, or serious at all for that matter. Look how many people were affected by that. And then you got the Economic Securities Act, which is the CARES, of March 27, 2020, which helped maintain family incomes and savings during the crisis. Of course, he had to come back with something because he tried to repeal Obamacare. But that CARES Act, right? Because if he had left Obamacare where it was, we would have been a little bit just better. But because he didn't, he came out with the CARES Act, and it contributed to $3.1 trillion budget deficit. Yeah, deficit means debt. That means that he spent another $3.1 trillion. And that's for the fiscal year of 2020. So he did all that in 1 year. Now, that's the largest since the 1945 relative to the size of the economy. Now, Trump left office with 3 million fewer jobs in the U.S. And when he took office, making Trump the only modern president to leave office with a smaller workforce. Yep. You heard that right. When he left office, everybody had no job. Everybody was unemployed. Everybody was broke. Everybody was, what's the word I want to look? It don't even matter. It don't even matter. Everybody was without. Everyone was without. Everybody was sitting at home, scared, hoping they didn't die at Walmart for 3 hours trying to figure out how to get some toilet tissue. Remember those trucks that were in Canada that couldn't get in with goods? And so you had a lot of stuff that wasn't on the shelves. That was during Trump. That was during the Trump administration. That wasn't Obama. That wasn't Biden. That was Trump. And I'm not saying this to say that there's something wrong with the Republican Party. But there's something wrong with the Republican Party. I'm just playing. I'm not saying that all Republicans are the same, because I understand that they all aren't. I'm just saying that I wish they would have better picks, because Bush was dumb as a box of rocks, and Trump was just popular. That's it. That's all. So if that's what the right is trying to stand on now, then maybe I should stand on something else, because most of that stuff anti United States. That's what most of that is. This man has committed all types of treason. And you know the sad part is, I was actually in the military when he got elected. And as much as I knew that this man was coming in to do us all types of harm, I could not say anything. He doesn't care about veterans. He doesn't care about active duty. He cares about self. And the only reason he's trying to run now, if you want my honest opinion on it, is so he stays out of jail. It's so he stays out of jail. And for the life of me, I don't understand why people can't understand that, or why people can't see that. Everybody always saying stuff like, why would they try him or charge him in the middle of a campaign? No, honey, he decided to run a campaign in the middle of an investigation. Why would they investigate him in the middle of a campaign? No. They are, or I'm sorry, he is in the middle of an investigation. Don't be fooled. Anyways, I'm not gonna stay here long. I'm over with that, because y'all know my internet will act up in any minute. It will act up in any minute. So I'm not gonna stay here long. I just wanted to get that part out and give y'all a little bit of information, because at the end of the day, come on, man. This man got y'all out here looking crazy. He got y'all out here looking foolish, uninformed, uneducated, everything. And I'm talking about people of all colors. Look how many people are no longer supporting this man. It's because their eyes are opening. It's because their eyes are opening to what's really going on. The blinders are off. And I'm hoping that more people, or at least through my videos, more people's blinders will be off. Because this man is not looking out for your best interest. I am so sorry. He's looking out for his best interest, because he's hoping that by him being put into office, this immunity situation will continue to go on and he doesn't have to go to jail. I tell you what, if you don't think so, then I put it to you like this. If I were convicted of 34 counts of fraud, sexual assault, if I lied every time I open my mouth, would you, just by me being a celebrity of sorts, would you put me in office? Would you put me in office? If I had the same criteria as this man, would you put me in office? You don't even have to tell me the answer, because I already know that you would not, because you would not feel that I'm qualified. So what makes this man qualified? Because he has a bunch of money, or had a bunch of money? Because he's had failed businesses left and right. He's filed bankruptcy so many times, I can do backflips. So what's the difference? You need to ask yourself these questions. What is the difference? Because there really ain't much of a difference. This is a failed businessman who committed fraud, who committed SA, and who is a felon. Would you put any other felon? Oh, mind you, the fact that he deals with the enemy, Vladimir Putin. He's not our friend. He just congratulated him the other day. He's not our friend. Would you put anybody else who congratulated one of our enemies in office? All I'm saying is check yourself. Check yourself, check your morality, all that good kind of stuff. But I'm about to go for my internet get to acting up. And I'll see you guys on another.